Hi, I'm Tom Nash, and I'm here today to talk to you about Camwo's Shonishin Toolkit. If you've come to this page on the Camwo website, you probably already know what Shonishin is. But just very briefly, Shonishin is a Japanese method of using a variety of small metal tools to treat kids primarily who are afraid of needles without the necessity of inserting needles. So the first tool we're going to talk about is called the Bachche Bari. Now you'll notice as we go through it that many of these tools serve more than one purpose. The primary purpose of this tool is to scrape along the channels. Again, the purpose is to move chi and blood and to surface pathogenic factors so they can be cleared from the surface of the skin. This tool accomplishes this primarily by using the scraping edge here to scrape along the channels. We're going to focus on individual point areas like Li4. But you'll notice that the pointed tip can also be used to put pressure on individual points. So if you were treating, for instance, a child with a fever, you'd want to work the large intestine channel, and if it was a fever with a respiratory condition, the lung channel as well, but then you want to go to specific points like Li11, Li4, lung 7, and use the tool again for more than one purpose. The next tool is the Harata arrow. So this is another tool that can be used for a number of different purposes. First of all, we use the rounded edge to scrape along the channels. It's more of a focused scraping than with the prior tool, and the rounded edge can also be used to press on points. The pointy tip is not used so much to press on points. That would be a little too aggressive. So what we use that for is what we call tapping, where you hold it so that just the tip is sticking out between the fingertips, and you use it like this to tap, again, in areas where there's muscle tension, indurations or excess conditions along the channel course, or in the case of a febrile illness, you can tap on the upper back to release heat. This tool is called the Choa. This is primarily used for scraping, but you'll notice that the scraping edges, there are two different ones. This one is a little sharper, this one is a little more gentle, are smaller. So primarily this would be used to treat a smaller child, an infant, 6-month-old, maybe up to a year-old, where the areas that you're going to scrape are much smaller and it would not be appropriate to use one of the larger tools. But again, the basic idea is scraping along the channels to move the chi, to move the blood, to regulate it, and then to focus on individual points to stimulate. It also does have a tip, so that can be used also to press on the point to stimulate it again. Just hold it and imagine, using your intention, imagine tonification moving in through the point and into the actual channel. This tool is the Hokey. It's 2 inches long, it's made of polished silver. It's used again primarily for scraping on the channels. What looks like a single tip is really a series of 7 prongs. See, like that. So this is for more aggressive style scraping. Good for where there's stagnation, significant stagnation, where you're treating an excess pathogen that you want to break up and clear through the skin. It really kind of digs in there and gets it. The other edge can again be used as a non-insertion needle, rotation. Just hold it against the point and you stimulate it that way. This tool is known as the Chokey Chin. Chokey Chin is my go-to tool. I would say probably 70% of my Shonishin treatment is done with this tool. Again, it has multiple purposes. The primary purpose is scraping along the channels and in the areas of specific points, just simply like this. Okay. It has 2 separate edges though, one normal and one that has notches or serrations along it. This enables you to dig into the channel and go a little bit deeper again, to get out stubborn pathogenic factors, clear excess heat, but where you want to be a little bit more aggressive with your treatment. And again, like so many of the other tools, it also has a point for pressing on the individual points to stimulate them. Okay. If you were going to buy one tool to start practicing Shonishin, I would recommend this one because it does most of what you need to do in a treatment. Okay. This tool is known as the Yoni Yama. This is made of solid copper. This, like the Chokey chin, is a go-to tool that can be used for an entire treatment, both scraping and stimulating the points. But as you see, it's a smaller size, so it's more appropriate for toddlers, infants, and small children. Two primary functions are, again, the scraping edge, which allows it to be used to scrape the channels, to scrape in the areas of an individual point, and then the tip, which can be used to press on points, stimulating them, or for the tapping that we demonstrated earlier. So it's a 3-in-1 tool, very effective, and again, primarily geared towards smaller children with smaller limbs, smaller surface areas, so its smaller size makes it more appropriate. This tool is known as the Bari Gold Rake. As you can see, it actually resembles a miniature rake. This tool really only has one purpose, and that's for aggressively scraping along the channels. It makes it an ideal tool for clearing excess heat or for dispersing stubborn excess pathogens. As you can see, it really digs into the channel and very strongly and aggressively moves chi and blood. It may not be appropriate for very small children because of the intensity of the sensation. However, it's a nice tool to have in your toolkit because kids love to play with it. If they have a stuffed animal or a doll, they love to use this and do it on the doll. Anything that keeps them busy and focused makes your treatment that much easier. This tool is known as the Matsuba pine brush. This is used for scraping, and again, you see it has two different edges. This one is perfectly applicable for scraping along the channels in any situation. Its small size makes it appropriate for young children or small children. This edge, you can see, has 7 relatively stiff prongs. This makes it by far the most aggressive of all the tools for scraping on the channels. The intensity of the sensation, again, may not be appropriate for small children, but for older children where you really want to dig into the channel and aggressively move chi and blood, it's the most effective of all the tools. So either like this, or using it this way, like this. Just be a little cautious with the intensity of your scraping with this one because it really has a strong sensation. On behalf of CamWo, this is Tom Nash. This is the complete toolkit that you get from CamWo. Everything that you need to begin your practice working with children in one extremely reasonably priced kit.